What's up, guys?
What up?
What up? What up? Soundflick Pod. You already know.
Yo, bro, we need a soundboard.
Who's this guy?
It's Jadakiss's laugh, bro.
I'm calling it now. By the, let's see, we're at episode 27. By like the 40th episode, we need a soundboard. We need something in there for our little effects and things that we can just press on.
Yeah. I haven't heard Jadakiss's name in so long.
Bro, he just did a versus battle with Fabulous like a couple weeks ago.
I didn't even hear about that. So that just
goes to bro. He was wearing all yellow. He yeah, it was funny.
He was drunk.
He was lit. He was.
I feel like all of them be hella drinking on those verses.
T-Pain was hella drinking on his with.
I heard people be bullying.
Yeah.
I heard people be bullying T-Pain.
Lil Jon, my bad. Yeah.
They were. But like people need to put some more respect on T-Pain's name. Like, fam.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Nobody really like all the slaps he was playing, all the like shit he pioneered, and like all the features are like highly slept on. I love T-Pain. He's probably one of the best performers I've ever
That's
seen.
probably why people don't like him. Because he'll probably take the spotlight, or it's like
probably
they're probably just scared. It's kind of like the Drake effect.
You know, I kind of wondered about that too. Like, just when I think about like, you know, some of the artists that if it were me, I'd for sure work with them and make sure that they were on my project. And it's like, how come people don't work with them? And I could just assume like they're probably shitty people in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something. There's probably something there, but it's probably to us. It's probably nothing to the industry. It's hella annoying. So I don't know.
I went to that award show and I said what's up and you dissed me, so I'm never on a song with you ever again. Like, damn. Like.
Yeah, but this is Skywalker Mike.
Hey, okay.
That's my co-host.
That's cool. I'm right here.
That's cool. And then we got Ace.
My name is Young Flocko, a sincere, big chilling guys out here quarantining.
Or are you saying that you are big chillin', or is that a new nickname that you're adding to?
Oh,
AKA big chillin'.
Because I'm big, I'm done. No, just kidding. Yeah, low-key, like, yeah, I'm big chillin', bro. Like,
that'd be
all right.
Pretty cool.
There's an ice box where my heart used to be. I'm just out here.
Damn it!
Look, man.
Shout out to Young O, Maybach O.
Omarion don't age, bro. Omarion's the shit. Yeah. Anyways, how are you guys? I know we've been like tapping in all week, but
we're good. I'm good. At least I'm good. I'm pretty good. Just chilling.
No entanglements. Nothing crazy.
Working on some stuff. I'm not going to touch on that. Working on some stuff with some friends. You know, as usual, just at home, watching movies, reading about random shit that's happening in the movie industry. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, we're gonna get to all of these topics. But before we do, follow us on Soundflick Pod, Instagram. We got YouTube. Check out previous episodes on Spotify, Anchor FM, Apple Music, wherever you listen to your podcast, you could find previous episodes there. But today we got a lot lined up. I kind of mentioned some of it already, you know, talking about some movies, talk about some news, talk about some like upcoming productions. And yeah, there's just a lot of, it's a weird world with movies now. I know we keep mentioning that and kind of keep bringing it back, but I mean, it's kind of every day it's like,
yeah,
just literally a different day as opposed to pre-corona, I guess.
I think, sorry, go ahead, Eric.
No, you good.
Okay. So I think one thing that quarantine's kind of showed me, at least because like I don't like feeling stagnant. So my assumption is if I feel this way, there has to be at least a couple other million people that feel the same exact way, right? So I feel like across all boards, like whether it be like music, film, animation, whatever the case is, right? It's kind of separating who's really about their shit and who's not. You know what I mean? Because you get people out here making secret films, you got people out here writing scripts, you got people out here designing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Quarantine definitely required everyone to, if that's what you said that you wanted to do, then now's the time to do it, you know?
Right.
And if you aren't doing it, then you probably didn't really want to do it.
Yeah.
But what makes me sad, man, is just driving around and seeing empty movie theaters, bro. Like, you just see empty parking lots. It's just the movie theater by itself, and I'm like, I could be watching Black Widow right now.
There's so many movies that should be out right now. Like, it's
There's
insane.
so many, like Tenet. Like, we could have been watching Tenet right now, and
Mulan.
Bro, seeing all like when you pass by a movie theater, it's all lit. It's all like, yo, like you get the feel like I want to be at the movies. It's all like just there's no lights on. It's just all dead. But I don't know. I've heard some movie theaters are like renting their spaces out to like churches and stuff, which is pretty cool. But now that everything's locked up again, it's like,
I mean, they got to get money somehow. Right. I mean,
hey man, they shouldn't even be doing church. Like,
they shouldn't be getting together. But I understand. You know.
Yeah, I feel like that's the equivalent to a movie theater because it's the same exact setting, you know. But only because of the environment, not because I don't want them practicing what they preach. But you know, there's different ways nowadays. Virtual churches.
Yeah, like prior to Corona, when I was growing up, there was a pastor who left one of the churches that I was a part of and wanted to start his own. And before he got a building, he was using a movie theater to do it. Okay. And like everybody would meet at the movie theater to go for service. That was kind of cool. And that actually gave me the idea. I was like, oh, so anything could be done at a movie theater then. Like it's just a space now. Like you could throw a party, like you could have music video showing, you could have whatever you want. But
I mean, I don't think it's advertised as much that you can just rent a movie theater out and do what you don't even have to watch a movie in there. Like they don't care. You're already paying for the time to be in there, you know? So, but I mean, yeah, I guess it wasn't advertised when movie theaters were open, you know? I know sometimes there's like a ad before the movies, but that's usually even before the previews. So
here's the song, Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone.
Hopefully it comes back. But
all I know is that Harkins charges $100 an hour. So
that's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Because if it's like, I mean, that's like renting a venue anyway. You know, if you get like a nice venue, you throw a party, it's probably going to run you like $400, $500 to rent it for the night or for, you know.
Right.
And at least at a movie theater, they have concessions, so you don't even have to provide that, you know? So
you just walk out and go to the concession stand, bro. Big chilling.
So the minute that we get cleared to get back into the movie theaters, what I'm hearing is a Soundflick party in the movie theater.
Very much so.
Imagine if they can split the concession money for I doubt that they would because that's where they make their most money. But if we can get a piece of that,
that'd be dope.
Also, just want to confirm drive-ins aren't open. Drive-ins are open, guys. I passed by the Rubidoux one last night.
Yeah, they're showing some cool ones there. There's some good movies. Some okay. Palm Springs, the one that's on Hulu, is at the drive-ins right now.
That was surprising to me, but it's well thought out.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Netflix hasn't just come up with their own drive-in yet. Like they're just like, here's a Netflix drive-in.
Well, it's funny you say that. There's a theater that I follow on Instagram. They're from the OC. And recently, they have been renting out.
How come you haven't told me about this?
It's literally right down the street from him, sir.
Like what?
No. Now it is like now that you moved out to the LC, you know, it didn't pop in my mind. But they just started going to a park or renting out space at a park, and they're doing their drive-ins now because they have a very heavy collection of movies, so they can show it whenever they want. Right now they're showing like Monty Python, The Holy Grail, a Beatles movie from like the 70s that they did, and then they're showing Clue and Knives Out right now.
Oh, I want to go see Clue. That'd be hard. Yeah. Knives Out was great, but we talked.
Knives Out was great.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, kind of getting into some quick news, you know, kind of talking about how we're trying to find new things to do, new ways to watch movies. Like, it was announced, or there was an article saying that movies might be closed till 2021. You know, I see a lot of movies still aiming to come out in August.
To drop in like November, yeah.
And I don't know. I want to believe that it will come out in August, but it's really hard to say. It's not up to us, you know.
And the things that we love the most and that we're a part of, which is movies and live shows, are like the things that just won't come back for 2020. And it makes me so sad. But I don't know, man. I think that I think a lot of movie theaters, or just movie studios, I would say, they're just holding back from making the announcement. But I think that they already know that it's not coming out. Either that, or they're holding back from creating an agreement with a streaming service that will allow the movie to stream at the same date that they said that it was going to come out for. You know, I'm hoping for that too.
Yeah, I hope so. Like, hopefully they're just like, well, if it doesn't come out in theaters, we already have the plan B to release it on the PlayStation Store or the Apple Store, Amazon, you know, whatever. There's been a few things that have popped up on Amazon that you could pay for and stuff.
Just buy it, like sell it for $20. Let us buy it and call it a day. You know?
Yeah, bro. I think that's my biggest concern too. Well, like what I kind of brought up is like, this kind of happened when physical albums stopped being sold as much and everything became streaming, everything became digital download, right? So, like, I'm curious if this is going to affect the box office at all. You know what I mean? Or how they're going to break it up between, obviously, you can't do ticket sales at a certain price or, you know what I mean? So, obviously, they're going to be taking a cut where, like, say Black Widow, it could potentially be like a $12 million movie, right? And so is that going to affect the revenue because it's going to be on streaming services?
I feel like it won't, because for one thing, they won't have to do any more public advertising. Like they don't have to go to they don't have to send their actor to like hella interviews or around like doing the tour for the movie, you know, like all that. It helps the movie, but it also costs the movie. So now there's like Zoom interviews that they can do, and you can do like, I feel like that'll be pretty much cutting the budget for advertising in half to where it could add to revenue. There's a lot of things that it could.
It seems like, and just like this is, I guess this is like in Hollywood fashion too. They're really attached to the old, you know, to the ways of old and the way that things get done. But they should have already created a space inside their studios to do these interviews, to hold virtual conferences, to talk about the movies, and then just have us pay like a regular ticket price to a service, or it would be more than a ticket price because we're paying from the comfort of our home, and, you know, call that a day. Like I would pay $20 to see Black Widow or $20 to see Tenet, even though that a ticket is like, you know, $12 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like that they're underestimating the ability of people to stream it and to continue to stream it, even if it's available for one night or like a 24-hour period, you know, or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of already do it like on Time Warner, or like if you have any cable, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that you rent a movie from the PlayStation Store, or like, I think you can even rent movies on like Fandango, YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's available for a few days and then it goes away. But I mean, imagine like renting a movie for $20 and you can watch it 4 times. You watch it two times a day, 2 times the next day before. I mean, not a lot of people would do it, but a lot of people would, like kids. Like that's why the Trolls movie, when it came out digitally, one of the first movies to come out digitally instead of just going to the movies or waiting and postponing, they pretty much like kids were replaying it like every day. And I don't know if replaying the movie will give it like extra stream, like Sincere was saying. Is this going to affect it in a bad way, or is it going to be like music where now it's accessible at all times and you can stream it and they get like a percentage per stream, you know? Is it going to be better for them to be dropping digital, or is going the movie route still going to be the best way, like the traditional route?
Yeah, I think that's very interesting. Because then how do you work out those contracts? Because there's so many people that are involved in a movie as opposed to who's involved in music. You know, in music, you might have like 20 people, 30 people total, you know, but in a movie, in a big budget movie, you have hundreds and hundreds of people that are a part of it. So like, who gets a cut of the streams?
Right.
Like when it gets cut into that way, or does the studio just pay everybody out like a flat fee, and then the studio itself gets all of the streams that come back? So, and if it's like that, I feel like only Disney is really in like the greatest of spaces to do that and accomplish that correctly, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no, because Netflix has kind of been doing it for a while, but I guess Disney is a different thing because Disney's been around before Netflix, but as far as Disney Plus goes, that's fairly new. But I wonder how Netflix was getting paid for their movies because like a lot of the movies go straight to Netflix, and
Mhm.
is it paid off subscription or is it paid off stream? Like that's the one thing we've never learned about Netflix because they keep that close to heart. Like they don't like release.
Right. They don't put those numbers out.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of talked about it. I think it was saying that Netflix was actually in debt because of like they borrow money in order to finance a lot of these films, and then they pay it back based on the subscriptions that they would get. You know, they would come out of that, but that never seems sustainable.
Yeah.
And we used to talk about, oh, well, if somebody else starts doing what Netflix does, then, you know, they're going to be out of business. But all of these streaming services have come out and Netflix is still thriving.
Yeah. And there's something there that we don't know that we can't calculate because those numbers just aren't available to us probably. But I mean, now Netflix, like before Netflix was making movies and they were kind of smaller budget and didn't really have a large or recognizable cast. But nowadays there's a lot of new movies coming out on Netflix because that's where they have to go, or they're getting comedy specials. It's like now you're paying more than you know your regular everyday, like who knows who this actor is, but then now you get Tom Cruise or Samuel Jackson, or like you could get Keanu Reeves, you get Will Smith, you pretty much get anybody in the Netflix movies. But how much does it really cost them? And
According to our productive culture fact checker, there is an estimated $480 million that they make monthly in revenue.
Oh wow. It's crazy. Is that yeah, I mean that's
they get paid off of licensing.
It's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's kind of like how streaming works, right? You know, the label gets paid off of licensing or how long they have the contract for that album or single song. I don't know. Because eventually, because with licensing too, the way it works, Netflix had those Disney shows like Luke Cage and Daredevil, and now they're gone, and Disney can't use them until I think they can start using them next year. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I guess that's crazy.
It like reverts back to them, so like they license it out for the streaming service, and then that's why movies disappear. I was watching a movie on HBO Max, and it was The Pelican Brief, starring Denzel Washington and Julia Roberts, and literally it was leaving on July 1st. It said on it was like leaving the streaming services on July 1st. I watched it the night before. As soon as it hit 9:30 on June 30th, all of a sudden I was watching the movie. I was about maybe 20 minutes in, and it just stopped.
Oh, wow.
It started buffering, and I was like, "What? Like, what is going on?" So like I kept pressing like play and then pause and play and pause, and it wouldn't go. And I tried to like fast forward or go back, and it wouldn't go. And I was like, I bet if I leave this movie right now, it's gonna be gone. And I exited out, and I went back, and they were like, "This movie is no longer available for streaming." And that was
crazy.
June 30th at 9:38. So they went off of East Coast time. So it was already July 1st in the East Coast. And they just took it away like immediately. It took 30 minutes for them to take it out.
Yeah, no chill.
That's crazy. They should have been like, "Oh wait, one person's watching. Let's just wait."
Yeah, I'm like, y'all ain't gonna even let me like finish watch it. Like you could see that I'm on this. Like, what do you mean? So I had to go to Amazon, and then I found it on Amazon, and I just finished it. I went back to where I was at and finished the movie. But
at 12, it literally went from HBO Max to Amazon.
Just like transferred over. I've never had that happen to me before, so they're pretty strict on it, and I'm sure because they have so much money that's invested that they have to.
Yeah, but moving on with some quick news. You wanna talk about the fest that we're doing on
Yeah,
August 1st?
so I had a company reach out to me, Bonfire Live. If you guys don't know about Bonfire, they're based on the East Coast, specifically Chicago, but their team is based all over the U.S. They reached out to me about during a show on their platform, seeing that we did Leap Fest together. They kind of like that intrigued them. So I had the opportunity to plan a show for Soundflick Boys. So me, it's going to be Norik Thascool, Skywalker Mike. Also got the homies DJ McKay, Cam Archer, Nicholas Gray, and of course a good friend of ours, Phantom Threat, on the lineup. So first off, please support us because 100% of the ticket sales go to the artists and 100% of the tips go to the artists. I think there's a big thing going on right now too because I still get random text messages from like promoters like, yo, throwing this show, it's $100 to get on, to be on this Instagram Live to have like a couple thousand people on it.
$100.
Yeah, I know. It's wild. But I think now's the time to support the people you know, people you love. Especially because us being artists, we don't have those opportunities to be doing shows like we were. So August 1st, we'll be streaming live from Serious Cartoons, Records, and Tapes. My goal is to basically the shows we have now is to be able to virtually stream that and do my job of being able to emulate that through a screen. Just the same energy, same vibes, same lineup that you could potentially see in the IE, you know what I mean? So August 1st, Soundflick Boys will be performing live at Bonfire Fest, and I'm super stoked for it. It's gonna be a good night, especially because like there's no audience. It's literally just all the homies chilling at the record shop. So
Yeah, it's just gonna be us. It'll be pretty fun.
Good show. Good show. Excited for that. Everybody make sure to follow Bonfire Live and follow A Sincere for updates on that.
Not only
show.
that, tickets are only $5, so please do that one time.
Just one hand, not two hands, one hand.
Well, 10 if you feel so inclined to support your boys.
Wu-Tang. For sure. All right, guys. So what kind of movie do we have on the docket today? What we watch?
So it's another Netflix movie.
Number 3 in America.
Yeah, that's cool that they do that. They just started.
I love the fact that Netflix started doing that, bro. It makes me feel intrigued to watch this movie now.
I feel like they're lying.
Just to promote it? Yo, imagine it's just a marketing tool.
How you know? It's number 3 in America?
Oh, it says it on Netflix.
No, I know, but I'm just saying I'm questioning Netflix. Like, oh, how you know? How you know that we all watching this right now?
They just take the highest streaming movie from the night before. It changes every day, if I remember correctly.
There's a new billboard, bro. There's a new billboard on that. No, but
all
it's all
it is.
good. This movie was fire, so I feel like it deserved to be in the top 3, and it is called The Old Guard, and that is starring Charlize Theron.
She's so fine.
I always get this guy's name messed up, but he's great. Chiwetel Ejiofor, I think is how his name is pronounced.
You pronounced it better than I would have, so yeah, that's his name.
Yeah. He's dope though. He's always in like super dope movies. I like his character. It's always like he always has like this like mystified look on his face, like, oh, he can't believe that he just did some shit that like messed everything up. He's always looking like that, so it was great. But the movie The Old Guard was super interesting. A concept that I'm not too familiar with. I couldn't really pinpoint it to any movies that I've seen before. But it's basically about a group of people who have this ability to survive death, you know, and whether they
immortality,
so to speak. And because of this immortality, whenever they died first, that's the age that they're at, you know,
right.
and they keep that age up until they're unable to heal themselves anymore. And, you know, that could be hundreds of years, thousands of years. You know, we don't really know. They kind of left it pretty ambiguous,
right,
on how many people have been like that. Has that been the case all throughout time? Is this like a new phenomenon? But it starts out with Charlize Theron, who is one of those people, and she has a group of 3 guys with her, and they are an army, so to speak, and they've kind of influenced a lot of the biggest battles and biggest wars that have happened in our history. And they've died a bunch of times, and they always kind of find each other back, or find their way back to one another. That's what I meant to say.
It gives me that real Wolverine Victor vibe, Wolverine Sabretooth vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's kind of how the healing factor was. In even Deadpool kind of healing factor. It seems like that they could be blown up or blown to bits, or maybe
regenerate.
How long is that one piece of their
and like regenerate? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it kind of felt like. It may take a long time, and I think that when they do, they may be in different places or different areas, and it takes them, from the past. I'm assuming if they died like in battle, and the battle left, and then they regenerate, and now they're just in an open field with everyone that's dead around them. It may take them a while to get back to where they need to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think it showed that each time they didn't know if they were going to regenerate or not.
Mm-hmm. I
think they were always like, this might be the time, or this might be the time. Like,
right.
Every single time they weren't sure. They kind of had, I'll probably come back out of this alive, but then there was a flashback sometime in the movie when one of them did die. So it was like, I think Charlize Theron's character had said that she knew somebody who was immortal, and they were no more. They had just died. Like, that was it. And they were like, what do you mean? I thought you lived forever. It was like, not everything that lives forever. So,
right.
Yeah. And I think that was kind of like the moral of the movie right there, is that, we're trying to, even the things that live the longest eventually come to an end.
Yeah.
For the timing that it comes to an end. So I thought it was really cool, really interesting. The universe that they kind of painted made me want to know more about, like, Charlize Theron's backstory.
Right.
Was she the first one? Is she, the oldest one? Or, how does, like, what line or what lineage do they come from that allows them to do this? And I kind of liked how the movie, like, it didn't necessarily give you the answer to that, but it gave you enough information to feel like, okay, this has been happening for a long ass time,
Yeah, I think luckily too, because I know Charlize Theron already talked about a sequel, which is crazy because it just came out like on the 10th, right? But I think, like, obviously we're not the only people that assume that, right? Only people that feel that way. Like, I wonder where this is in the past. So that leaves the huge opportunity too, especially seeing how good this movie is, to create the prequel.
Yeah, they could do a prequel. They could do a sequel. They really, and the movie was surprisingly long, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
Because it told me that they really want to invest in the story and in the concept of this going on. And you can basically have anybody play anyone, no matter if they go in the future or the past, because a lot of them look the same, when they died. It's not like that they age out, but I thought that was really interesting. Because, like, imagine if you didn't know that you live forever, and then, like, you just died of old age, and then you came back and you're just still old forever now.
You're like, bruh,
yeah,
yo,
because I
can't do anything.
Because it doesn't kick in until you die.
Until
you
die.
You don't stay that age until you die, type of thing. Mm-hmm. Like the Marine, when she died and she was young, and they're like, oh, she's only a baby. It was like,
yeah,
damn.
And it's like she's gonna stay like that forever. So, like, even there's probably a couple kids that they haven't discovered or that were from the past that had that ability,
Yeah. It was interesting. Like, they found out when somebody became one of them, like they would get it, like they would be dreaming or they'd get a vision, and then the other person would get a vision of them. But I think even at a point of the movie, I forgot his character, the guy who was pretty much tracking them down.
Merrick?
Yeah, Merrick. No. The other one that was helping him.
Hopefully. Oh, that was Chiwetel Elijah Ford.
Yeah. Yeah, he said that he was like while just like discovering them, that there was a lot of others like them. I think that he had mentioned that, and it's like, you guys don't know that you guys actually helping in these wars or these situations actually helps shape our future for the better.
Right.
Yeah, and it's crazy that Netflix
like made it like that. He was like the new X-Men, you know.
Like
Kind of
Professor X. Yeah,
it's like
to be honest, it kind of, now that you say that, yeah.
Not only that, but it's like, not that it's realistic, but it's not as like, it's not mutants. You know what I mean? They're just immortal people who happen to be really good in their field of.
There's no explanation. There's no mutation. It just happened.
Mm-hmm. I thought the CGI went really well too. Like when you kind of see those scenes of I think my favorite one was towards the end. Remember when she's like in the car and then like falls off the building?
Oh yeah, I was just watching
her hands
that part.
all distorted, and then you see like snap into place. Yeah, she's putting herself back together. I thought it was well put together because it looked real. Like you can really tell the CGI.
Special effects when it came to the injuries that people received, like it looked really good. Aside from what's his name, when he like brought him over his head and like he busted his neck. The bodyguard or whatever. Yeah, I feel like he should have just killed him in like a regular way. But like I thought that was just like a little extreme. It was like, all right, bro, like that's it.
I think it's crazy how Netflix always decides to do like some type of mercenary film.
That's just their bag, bro. Because like
I have a theory on that. I think that gives them permission to travel because they're like. All the movies that they shoot, the best thing about Netflix movies is that they shoot on location. Yeah. You know, it's rare that they do movies that are like within a studio or anything like that. They really try and shoot at these international places, whether it's Morocco or France or the Sudan, anything like that, you know? And a mercenary is just an easy way to get there. It's like, we'll get a helicopter, we'll drop them off in the middle of nowhere, and we'll do that.
Like, I can count so many movies that I've seen on Netflix, and I was like, oh, it's another mercenary film. Like they're either looking for gold, or they're looking for a kid, or it's like now at this point they've made it like fantasy mercenaries. So it's like interesting. You know, what's next? Like horror mercenaries.
Yep, you already know.
Zombie mercenaries, dog.
Horror mercenaries is going, and then we need the comedy mercenary.
They did do the comedy mercenary. That's the one. It's called 6 with Ryan Reynolds. I think it's called something like.
Bro, that movie was too like. It's kind of like nobody watched it, but R.I.P.D.
Nobody watched it. Not that one.
No, but
that was trash.
That movie reminded me of R.I.P.D. Just as how Ryan Reynolds was acting.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. We'll see what they do next.
One of the things that I liked about Old Guard is that what kind of made me feel like that they were invested more was they didn't just gloss over the backstory. You know, like they established even a brand new character in the backstory that you're just like, oh, well, I wonder what happened to them, or I wonder what happened to her. You know? And, you know, it's great how they're kind of fleshing that out as it goes through.
I think with the length of like the movies that they do, it's always like kind of lengthy. It's more than usual, more than your just 90-minute movie. I know there's like tons of 2-hour movies out there, 3-hour movies, but to be coming out like this regularly and like actually being pretty decent movies to watch at home, you know, like it's very interesting. But when you have 2 hours, like you can pretty much pencil anything in, you know. And I mean,
I think that has to do with quarantine though, because like how often do we get restless in a movie theater? You know what I mean? If something's like 2 hours, unless we're expecting it kind of like Endgame, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you know what I mean? So the fact that everybody's at home watching these movies, they have time to actually pay attention and have like a more personalized.
I mean, a lot of the times when you go to a movie too, you look at like, how long is this movie going to be? Oh no, I don't want to watch that. I don't have enough time, or I want to go home. But like, and I know on Netflix it tells you the length, but I remember you guys in the chat saying that you guys were watching the movie and you didn't think it was going to be as long as it was, you know? Yeah. Like even when we watched the Spike Lee movie, The Five Bloods, I was halfway through. I was like, damn, this movie's almost done. And then it's still another hour, you know? So it's weird. Like on Netflix, I don't look at the length too much. I just, this looks good. I'll just put it on.
Me too. I usually just put it on, and I wonder if Netflix, if there is anything to that, like because you're making a movie that's for streaming, you may not be restricted in the editing process of like the movie, because some movie studios, if you're going to a theater, they have data that shows how long people want to be at the theater for this long or these chairs or anything like that. Because Netflix is giving it to your TV just straight up, are they giving creators more autonomy over like, yo, you can make this movie as long as you want, like people are going to just watch it whenever they can watch it, they'll find the time themselves of when they want to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still paused on like an hour and 30 minutes on that Scorsese film, so I'll finish it eventually.
On The Irishman?
Yeah, I'll finish it eventually. So
yeah, I think that there's like a link, or not a link, or like an article that tells you when you should stop so that you watch it's 3 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think we said this in the group chat. It was like, this should be episode 1, and then episode, that's
episode
perfect.
2. Yeah, no, I love stuff like
One of the
that.
things that I wanted to point out in the movie was the romance that they had between Nikki and Joe. Just really, they took a lot of time to highlight and normalize, which it should be normalized, but they did it in a very, like, in a way that I felt like that tugged at like my heartstrings. You know what I mean? A lot of times whenever you see like a same sex relationship, if you aren't attached to that, it may be difficult for you to feel something for it. You know what I mean? To relate to it in any sort of way. But for some reason, the way that they did this one, I was like, yo, like, damn,
I feel you.
Really, like, they really love each other. Like, damn, like this is.
Yeah,
it was fun. I don't know if it's because they were also killing people, but.
Well, there was a part of the movie where they were talking and they were like, hey, like we've fought before, like we've killed each other before, so it's like you learn. I wouldn't know. I don't think any of us would know because it's hard to kind of determine, but when you kill somebody and they just happen to come back to life, you probably cherish that way more. That's just a theory, I guess, that I have. But I mean, I mean, it's not a real thing. Obviously, it is a movie, but it's weird that if you could kill somebody and they came back to life, like how would you feel towards them?
Yeah, bro, that's really, really interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah, and that's like their relationship, because that's what it is. Like they've learned to love each other in different ways because they know that it's infinite, or as far as they know, it's infinite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I appreciated the movie for touching on that, and because of the time period that they're from, it was like they have like a lot of romance in them naturally,
right?
That I think our world currently lacks. Like when he was able to say the things that he said about Nikki or Joe or whichever one said it, I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
It came off in a way that it was just so poetic that it was like, yo, like he needs to make a song right now. Like, like that movie would be fire right now. Like, and I thought it was interesting that Frank Ocean actually was one of the songs.
Godspeed.
Yeah, it was one of the songs that was used in the movie.
Yeah, it was. I didn't think that was like it was gonna play like that when it played. Like she just like she was by herself. She just felt lonely. She felt like what the guy said, she's going to be feeling the most alone that she's ever felt in her life. Mm-hmm. So at that point, when she put the earphones in and then like the intro, I already knew what the intro was. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, this is Frank Ocean. And then right away, just play it. I was like, that's so dope. That's cool placement right there.
Right. It's working like I think it's another commentary on us being alone. Like people who were born way back when they felt alone, they were really alone. Like there wasn't another voice that was around. There wasn't another sound that was around. Like when we feel alone, we can put our headphones on and like listen to music and maybe not feel as alone, and I think
that is true.
That's like a privilege that we have just with our own technology kind of advancing the way we have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something about that Frank Ocean placement was just perfect. Like it could have been something else, and I'd have been like, oh, whatever. I wouldn't have thought too much about it.
I thought the worst placement was the Khalid song, the Khalid Marshmallow song. It was after the car accident, and then it just like it's all EDM music playing with the like cut of the like the city. It's all like, but it's all like darkish.
Yeah, honestly, like all the other song like placements or just selections or whatever, they're forgettable.
Right.
To me, they're forgettable.
Yeah,
just something about just that Frank Ocean track that sticks. Because I feel like a lot of people listen to Frank Ocean.
Shout out Frank Ocean, holding it down.
Nah. What do you guys? What would you guys rate the movie?
Yeah, I was about to say what you guys overall.
I would probably give it a 7. I do like that there's going to be a sequel. They kind of set it up properly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who knows? It'll probably take place in 100 years in the movie because that's the price that guy has to pay.
Mm-hmm. Or sooner because he's just
sooner, yeah, because he found that character that was being introduced in the backstory type thing.
Mm-hmm. Which I thought was great, and I had a feeling that was going to happen when they announced that it was going to be 100 years before they see him again. I was like, oh, he's about to find this person. And then that person showed up, and I was like, perfect. That's great.
Sequel.
Yeah, they could have done that. Like, if it was in the theaters, I bet that would have been at the end of the credits.
Like the end credit scene? Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been the end credit scene. So I thought that was kind of cool. I give it like a 7.7?
So do you think this movie, because all our ratings seem like C's. What's your rating real quick, Sincere?
So it's like a 7 point like
3. Okay, let me just clarify. A 7 to me isn't a C. Like, I'm rating because like there are not many movies that get 10s out of me. Like 10 is like Remember the Titans. Like it's like, you know, Back to the Future. Like those are 10s where it's just phenomenal from start to finish, everything about it. Majority of good movies, I feel like we give them like 8, 8.5.
Right.
You know, some of the Marvel movies have been 9s because of how they've tied everything up and how they've showed us stuff that we've never seen before. So I think for a Netflix movie, giving it like a 7.5, 7.7 is like, that's solid.
Okay.
Plus it being another mercenary movie. I agree.
Do you think if this movie would have came out in theaters that you would have probably bumped it up like to an 8 maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting.
I don't think so because I don't think it would have been as long if it was in the movie. It's like I have a feeling they would have cut out some scenes.
Yeah, if it was just the way that it was and I saw it on a big screen, yeah, probably go with 8. But I do agree with Sincere.
Okay.
It came out in theaters. I think some of the backstory would have been cut. You know, like maybe that whole thing with that extra character would have been cut, and it would have just had like her love interest and like the story of her losing that person. You know what I mean? But when they added that element, I was like, oh, okay, they're invested because, and that scene was just crazy. Like to keep you in a perpetual state of dying.
Yeah.
That's bad.
It's crazy. I think part 2, they'll find more out about themselves. They'll probably meet somebody who has been living longer than all of them combined, probably. Like, who knows?
The Thanos of the of the mercenaries, of the immortals.
I feel like part 2, they set themselves up for a better movie because now they have, like you said, like a Professor X, like helping them and cleaning up their tracks. You know, it's not going to be as sloppy and probably a lot more organized. Like, part 2 might be a little bit better, but I did enjoy it.
What's going to make it hard is that they are going to have to fight against somebody who's potentially just like them, you know, and now that's difficult. You know, that's always the greatest sequel. It's like you fight somebody who is trying to utilize your power in a bad way, you defeat them, but then the sequel is you fight somebody who has your same power. Now you got to figure out how to beat yourself, you know?
This sounds like the plot to Iron Man.
Oh, Netflix. All right, I'm bumping it down to 7.5.
Just keep it there, bro.
All right. Let's move on. That was a good movie. Go watch that on Netflix. If you haven't, I don't know why you listen to this, but hey, people watch movies different.
Hey, back to being consistent in quarantine. News came out last week. Right, was it last week?
It's like a week or two. Yeah.
That a secret movie was taking place it was shot between June 17th to July 2nd.
Yeah.
Starring Zendaya, My wife,
Zendaya
soon to be.
and John David Washington.
Zendaya's gonna be my wife, bro.
Oh
Speaking
no,
of existence.
she's not, because, she's already married to moi. Sorry.
But you're old. She's like my age.
Oh, damn.
Bro.
I don't care.
Honestly, how old is she?
This.
I don't even
Zendaya
know.
is 22, I believe. 21.
I thought she was like 25 or something.
That's what I thought too. Honestly.
That's cool. But
because I used to watch the Disney Channel. I know.
Mike is about to swoop in.
I know.
With his deep voice.
I had my juice box watching Jesse and Good Luck Charlie. I'm gonna need y'all to chill.
Damn, bro, that's a different generation than mine. But
For real.
I watched That's So Raven and
I'm not that young. I'm kidding.
Even Steven.
But yeah. So this movie took place between June 17th, July 2nd. Filmed at the Caterpillar House.
Wait, what'd you say?
Who else is in this movie?
I was saying who else? Yeah, who else is it starring? You just said it was Zendaya.
They only mention them. They do mention people like
that worked on it, but not so much people that were like actually in the film.
It's Zendaya and John David Washington, right?
Yeah,
Denzel Washington.
Yeah, the most notable name that I read from this article was pretty interesting article given the times. Scott Mescuddy's name came up, so I was like, oh, what is he doing? But I guess he's the executive producer. He's one of the executive producers or investors.
Both, yeah. So he was the executive producer, and he put money up.
That doesn't know who Scott Mescuddy is.
If you don't know who Scott Mescuddy is, you are uncultured. And his name, other than that, is
he's not wrong.
Kid Cudi,
the Moon Man himself.
The Moon Man himself.
It'd be awesome. It'd be dope if he won a Moon Man award for this.
Mm-hmm.
This Inception, but yeah. So Kid Cudi was a part of it. I had a couple other names. Executive producers Aaron Gilbert, Will Greenfield, of course Washington, Zendaya herself, and Kid Cudi were all investors. So they all put up their own money basically because it was around the same time Euphoria got cut from HBO.
Yeah, Euphoria season 2. It didn't get cut, just postponed on production. Okay. So yeah, like Zendaya, like when what was that?
Did you say that the director was? Who's directing it?
Sam Levinson.
Yeah, same director of Euphoria.
So when production for that got cut, Zendaya went to the director and was like, hey, can you write a movie or like a script in a movie that, that we can work on during these downtimes? And then, later on when quarantine's over, we'll figure it out and all that. But he pretty much finished the script.
6 days. It took him 6 days to write the script.
Like 6 days. Like, yeah, he wrote this. So I was like, oh, wow. So he pretty much was like, all right, let's do this. So they pretty much went through like all these crazy avenues and hoops that they had to jump just to get this production going.
Just get clearance to even put this together.
And one of the things that was key was getting private property in order to film, because on private property you could film. If it was public property, they can't film during coronavirus. So during these pandemic times, any pandemic really. But so they found a place in Caramel, California. I've never been there, never heard of it. But there's a house that they filmed it at. It's like an all glass house. It's called the Caterpillar House. Sincere mentioned it earlier, and it's pretty much just like an environmentally conscious glass house.
The house flows with the temperature of the outside, so it made it easy for them to film when it came to it being cold, it being hot. Then they barely use any electricity while using it. They don't have to worry about AC or heat or anything, which is pretty dope too.
I'm interested to see like how they like edited the camera work, because if it's around so much glass, you'd probably see like a lot of cameras in reflections of things, So I bet that their editing team has to be like on point, or else we'll have another Starbucks Game of Thrones fiasco.
Oh God. Nah. There's also a random white pickup truck in the back of a Game of Thrones episode, but just throwing that out there.
They got careless in Game of Thrones, but Sam Levinson is not that careless. He's pretty detailed. He's if you haven't seen Euphoria, then you should. And like just his camera work is really, really, really dope.
Yeah.
The crews that he gets is really nice. It's pretty much A24. Like think of an A24 movie. That's how the camera work is going to be for this movie.
Not
It might end up being an A24 movie. Like right now, there's no
production company.
Yeah, right now it's kind of independent. Who knows? It might get released independently. But if A24 likes it, they can be like, yeah, we'll buy it. It's ours now.
It's starring two people that are really, really on the rise in Hollywood, and to kind of get, Oscars themselves if they position themselves correctly. They're trying to get to that point. And so the movie's called Malcolm and Marie.
Yeah, and
do you have a synopsis?
Yeah, sort of, kind of. Not too much is released, but people are comparing it to the movie Marriage Story that just came out on Netflix. So it has supposedly plot points similar to that. So it might be, he's probably in a relationship with Zendaya while he has a wife, most likely, and she's probably very stalkerish or something. I'm not too sure. It could be a little different, but it's going to be interesting because it's one of those isolation shoots, and I know there's tons of movies that just shoot at one location all the time. But given that this is just a house, I wonder if there's going to be any other. I know other settings that they did mention was like, because it's literally a house and there's no other houses around it. It's like in the middle.
It's on 33 acres of land, like all private property, like nothing around it.
Yeah. So I can see there being like stuff in the forest around or in the trees in the environment around. But right now it's just kind of speculation, I guess, because even with like productions going on, like a lot of the times you hear about these productions right away because there's like there's film companies or not film companies, like E or like there's people doing news stories on it, media trying to keep up with it and trying to tell people about it. But with quarantine being down, you're limited to going to these sets because they only want specific number of crew, and even then you have to quarantine 2 weeks before. You have to take separate coronavirus tests. There's temperature checks, and even if you're not even the main actors or the main director, you can't be on set with them if you didn't quarantine with them.
Right.
I thought that was very interesting.
I think all that's just a big kudos too, because they took it upon themselves, which is like it being an isolation shoot is typically kind of like people would assume it's a bad thing. But the fact that they were a knockout, like a whole movie, get everything and more in 2 weeks, and given the pandemic happening, take the proper precautions, only allowing up to it was 12 people, right?
12 people
actors.
Once they started filming, only 12 people were allowed in the room or wherever they were filming. They had other like trailers off the side near the house and stuff for other crews, like costume crews or just getting the scripts together and stuff like that. But pretty much they that crew quarantined together, and then the other crew quarantined. So no crews were ever getting involved if you didn't quarantine.
There was no cross-contamination.
Yeah.
It must be such an interesting filming process. Like, how do you eat? Like, how do you, like...
Well, nobody left their rooms. If you're, like, an actor, director, and all that, everybody quarantined in their own rooms up until it came to the time to shoot. But even then, your temperature was checked at the beginning of the day and checked again at the end of the day.
Yeah. And even then...
Oh, well, go ahead.
They had their own chefs on the property. They had their own doctors, and... it was said that they were giving their food wrapped, not like it was already prepackaged before when they brought it. They made it, they wrapped it, and then they handed it to them. So
just think about the focus that you had. Like all you're doing is thinking and working on this movie, even when you're not filming, because you're still quarantined on the property. So you're like going over lines. You're only thinking about like the ways that you would do things. They still probably had Zoom calls. You know what I mean?
Right.
Doing Zoom calls and stuff. So. It's interesting.
I think is dope because it was only 2 weeks. But go ahead, Mike.
I feel like it could be better for the movie, like just having the actor completely focused, the director completely focused, instead of like, oh yeah, I have this other side project that I have to go to. I'll be back in 2 weeks, like, and then they forget their lines. They have to come back and they have to relearn everything. So it takes another 2 weeks to actually shoot what they want to shoot. So who knows? Maybe being focused can contribute to this movie being a little bit better quality, and we'll probably see a lot of movies do stuff like this a lot more often. I did hear I forgot his name, I just had his name, but another director, he has his own company in Atlanta. Tyler Perry. He pretty
Yeah.
much is doing the same thing as what they did for Malcolm Murray. Obviously, they're doing it now, opposed to being the first crew to do it. But since he has his own team, his own production company, his own crew for camera, editors, they're pretty much doing the exact same thing. They're quarantined together. They're going to the location. They're staying in their hotel rooms until it's time to shoot. So, I mean, if anything, they probably saw this, and this probably laid it out. We'll probably post an article somewhere on either in the description, but there's like a whole list of things that they had to do, like quarantine wise, not just quarantine, like for 2 weeks. Like, it's just insane. During the shoot, just in general, testing, the personal protection equipment you have to wear, hygiene on set. You can't touch your mask if you're on set, or else you're gone, type of thing. You can't share your phone. You have to wipe down everything. If you touch it, you have to wipe it down right after. It was very, very, very in detail on what they had to do.
They should do a documentary just on that.
That'll be even more. I feel like that'd be difficult in itself.
We have to put that together.
It's crazy.
That way nobody steals our idea. But awesome. as far as we know, they could have just pioneered the new way people are gonna put together movies. Because if this pandemic's gonna last up until next year, you know what I mean? If people don't stay safe
we don't know how long it's gonna last.
Exactly. Or it could last for a few more years, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like,
people
as far as we know,
people think it's gonna be gone like when New Year's hits. Like,
New Year, new me, no virus.
Nah.
New virus.
But other than that, I'm excited for the movie. My assumption, just reading everything without knowing like the synopsis and knowing what they put into it, my automatic assumption, I'm gonna give it like an 8.5. So I'm curious to come back to it once it finally releases and see if I still feel the same way.
I'm not too sure. Like, I still want to know more before I actually think if it's gonna be good or not. I think it's gonna be good, only based off of the actors and the directors.
Right.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, we should have like a prediction gauge also, for our trailers or for when we read about these movies, So I give it, just based off of actors, everyone that's involved in their creativity, I'm giving it a 9. I think it's just going to be something that just knocks it out the park.
Yeah, I'll probably give it like an 8 right now. I feel like it will. John David Washington has yet to strike out. They even get a strike. So, yeah. And Zendaya also, she's been doing. The only thing I didn't like her in was really Spider-Man, but that's a different story.
Right.
Spider-Man. But that's cool, man. I'm happy that they're staying productive during this time. Creatives got to get creative, and the best ones that do that and execute are going to win. So hopefully we get to see that movie materialize and come out, and we get to have a pod about that.
Yes.
Would you say they're creating a productive culture? Shout out productive culture. Shout out JOK pulling us down. I had to throw that in, bro. But before we go, because we are running out of time, we've all been streaming, watching movies. Our group chat's kind of just been flooded with all the suggestions, different things, and us trying to put each other on. So do you guys have any movie suggestions that you give to the audience right now that we're gonna be watching, potentially rewatching because we love it?
Yes. I probably won't be rewatching it unless they make a sequel to it. But there's a movie on Netflix. It's another Spike Lee joint, and it's been out even before The Five Bloods. I don't know how I missed it, but I watched The Five Bloods and then it recommended me, and I was like, what is this? It's pretty much a time travel movie, and it's pretty much the entire cast is black. There's probably one white dude and one Mexican dude. But it's pretty much about some kids that want to figure out how to time travel, but it's for a science project, so they can get scholarships to Morehouse and other prestigious black Ivy League schools,
HBCU stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that. And pretty much they try to figure out. They spoiler alert, they do figure it out. It's very interesting. It's very drama filled, and it's also it's pretty much the girl trying to shape something that just happened, trying to go back to the past and fix it. But every time she fixes it, something else goes wrong.
This is always the case. Anytime you try and change something, you mess it up some more.
Yeah, it pretty much has the almost exact mold that Back to the Future has. Not as crazy and not as wacky, but
so it's Black to the Future.
No.
Black to the Future. It's cool. I like it.
So you praise him for that, but every time I say something corny, it's frowned upon. I don't get it.
That one, I don't know. It was a little too
Over
smooth, you know.
Come on, Sincere, keep up, man.
I'm out here trying every day. My pen's getting better. I'm over it.
It's a good one, though.
What do you suggest, Sincere?
So I fell in love with Palm Springs. So if you guys haven't heard of Palm Springs, it's on Hulu. Andy Samberg and the boys, the Lonely Island boys, actually wrote this script. Basically, it's like a new age Groundhog Day. If you don't know what Groundhog Day is, it's
a classic
Bill Murray movie. Literally, it's just the same day repeating over and over and over again. There's a lot of plot holes in this movie. I'll talk about it later on once people start watching it and people ask to see it. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. Basically, it just takes place of a wedding weekend. Andy Samberg ends up getting stuck in this time loop because there's an earthquake that happens at the beginning of the movie, and that earthquake triggers this cave to have like an alien type aura in it. He goes into that aura, gets sucked into it, wakes up that same day, and then just keeps repeating. Whether he dies, whether he falls asleep, whether he travels far and like tries to do something, he still wakes up in that same morning. Even if you were to try to go through that loop again, like go into the aura, he still wakes up.
That sounds like Happy Death Day a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes and no. I guess they try to separate it by adding that like earthquake and alien aura to add more like mystique behind it.
Yeah.
But also J.K. Simmons is in this movie. Everybody knows J. Jonah Jameson. He plays Roy, who basically he's at that wedding as well. These dudes end up partying, doing coke together, and then Andy Samberg ends up taking him to the cave, and he gets sucked into there. And then J.K. Simmons.
So this is all in Palm Springs?
All in Palm Springs. It was shot in Palm Springs, yeah.
I love Palm Springs.
Palm Springs is great, but is Keanu Reeves in this movie?
Keanu Reeves is not in this movie. As far as we know, Keanu Reeves is the aura that causes the day to keep repeating. As far as we know. But then also Kristen Milioti, if you guys don't know who she is the mother from How I Met Your Mother.
The actual mother?
Actress. She's the actual mother, yes.
Okay.
She's super dope.
I do know her.
I enjoy her as an actor. I've been like watching her movies for a few years. But mainly from How I Met Your Mother, because it's like one of my favorite shows. She's in it. She becomes Andy Samberg's love interest, but she's also the sister of the bride, so she's the maid of honor. And then she ends up hooking up with Andy Samberg, and then they end up going near the cave. And what happens is that J.K. Simmons his goal.
Is this the whole movie?
No. Yeah, you have to get the whole movie right now.
It's not the whole movie. It's not the whole movie. But literally, how she ends up in there is that Roy, J.K. Simmons, tries to kill Andy Samberg. Literally, that becomes his goal. It's just like I'm gonna be here with you forever, so I'm just gonna keep trying to kill you, just for like my enjoyment. And then she ends up stumbling in there, and then that's where the movie kind of takes off.
Okay.
So
interesting.
I would say I give it a 7.5. It's really funny.
On the referral, you're supposed to refer them to watch.
I'm being transparent. No, yeah, watch it. It's a great movie.
Yeah, go watch it. It should be dope. I'm gonna watch it. I still haven't watched it.
I want to converse with you about it. So, yeah, we'll talk about it later on. But, yeah, Nuri, do you have anything?
No, I do not have anything for this time. I'll leave the audience with your 2 referrals. Hopefully you guys watch that. Definitely check it out. It's See You Yesterday, directed by Spike Lee, and Palm Springs, which is starring Adam Samberg. So
Andy.
Definitely.
Is it
Andy
Andy.
Not Andy Samberg and the Lonely Island Boys.
Could be Adam.
So I hope you all enjoyed episode 27 of the Soundflick podcast. Definitely subscribe to our Patreon and hit us up on Instagram. We have some new things going on, some more content that we're going to be posting through there, and
some more Netflix parties pretty soon.
Party pretty soon. We have a nice nice little community thing that we're going to be doing. Something a little bit different than what you've expected from us, but we definitely hope you guys engage and that you guys stay involved in everything we're doing Soundflick wise. Thank you again, Productive Culture, for powering this podcast. Make sure and reach out to productiveculture.com/podcast in order to set up your own podcast today. Do it today, and then tell them that Soundflick sent you. Them Soundflick boys. It's what
boys. We them boys.
We them boys. But yeah, it was great to chat with you guys, and see you guys out on set.
Here.
Peace out, y'all.